Good morning. I invite you to turn to one another and recognize the inherent worth and dignity in each of you. I'm Reverend Bob Renjilian. I welcome you to the Unitarian Universalists of Transylvania County. I know I've seen some of you around here this weekend already for things that have been going on. It's great. It's great to know that. Kevin is out today, so you get to hear me read a story this morning. Kevin was scheduled to do a retreat with the junior high students for our OWL human sexuality curriculum, and so that was a big drain on his time and efforts. So I'm glad to fill in and do storytelling for you all today. I did not come with a whole lot of ideas of things to announce because I just didn't have the brain power for it this morning. I just didn't. But we do have things coming up, and you probably saw slides showing things that are coming up, including Wonderful Wednesday on the 9th, and Sharon's going to talk about that.
Good morning. I'm very happy to talk about Wonderful Wednesday. This April 9th, Jesse and Kara Iaquinto are going to be performing. And Jesse is the lead singer, songwriter, mandolin player for Fireside Collective Band, which is a nationally touring band. And they have played at Brevard Music Center a number of times. And so the band is more newgrass, Americana, jamgrass, they call themselves. Jesse and Kara, when they perform together, do more, I don't even know what they're going to do. It's going to be a surprise to me, but the reason that this is so near and dear to my heart is Jesse is my son. So I hope you'll consider coming to Wonderful Wednesdays on April 9th, and if you're going to have dinner in advance, please sign up either through Realm or the page in the back, but we also would like a number for the actual performance. So if you're not going to eat, we still would need to know if you're going to plan to come to the performance. So hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. And we're lucky to have the musical talents of Scott and Karen this morning, and to bring us into the spirit of worship, Scott has his own piece that he has written to introduce us into worship, Amherst Morning.
Please join me in reading in unison these words by Atticus Palmer as we light our chalice. We call this light before us in hope that we may always remain a strong community, working together to make the world a better place. When we are grieving or sad, when we are challenged, when we need help, this flame guides us out of the darkness. When we are cheerful, when we celebrate, when we accomplish a great task, when we return to a place that makes us happy, the chalice reminds us to share our happiness with others.
Or you can use the lighter, whichever you like. I see we have some notes for our candles of joy and sorrow, and I also had one that was sent to me by electronically before this service. We will light a candle for each of these. Let's start with the joy. With great thanks for rain and also the hospitality folks have offered for fire evacuees. And Nancy, thank you for writing that one down. One of gratitude. Lois says, huge gratitude to all those who are fighting the wildfires and those who are supporting them. Rick Lawless writes a note of thanks and a candle of thanks to the UUTC community for your thoughts and prayers through this difficult time. And I have one from Tara McDonald, and she asked if I could light a candle for those who are suffering from the smoke in the air and respiratory issues and health issues dealing with this. And she notes that her son's bedroom is missing some windows, and she's getting worried about his exposure to the smoke that comes drifting up, and her and Jubal's too, and asthma, throat burning, all of that. She wonders, might there be someone who could come by and help with caulking, to bring along some caulking and help make sure that those windows are sealed well against any return of smoke. I think the rain's helping this morning, but this has been a hard week. So for everybody, let's light another candle for everybody who has been suffering health issues for this. While the candle said thank you to all who are responding, let me explicitly say out loud that immediately as it was known evacuations might be coming, a great gratitude to R.K. Young, who sent out a message to our UUTC community saying, hey, some of us are going to be evacuated. Can some of you take people in? And we had a response, and we've had people matching up. Thank you. And let's light a candle for all those things not yet shared. Perhaps you're not ready to quite say what it is yet, but maybe during coffee hour you will. And let's keep our ears open for those things that may be shared that are joys or sorrows. Thank you.
The opening words are by Amy Mackenzie. Welcome to this common, sacred space. Common because we are all welcome. Sacred because here we transform the ordinary and attend to the profound. We carry with us our regrets, doubts, fears, stories, laughter. May they inspire our worship. Above all, may we each meet what we need most to find on this day in this common sacred space. Please rise as you are able to sing our opening hymn, number 327, Joy Thou Goddess.
So the story that I chose this morning is from one of the meditation manuals. This is from 2002. Christopher Buyse had written this. Christopher's a colleague of mine, started out as a director of the children's programs and congregations, and went on to become an ordained Unitarian Universalist minister. And to give you an idea of Unitarian Universalism, if you're kind of new to us, and what our meditation manuals might be when they're published, this one's called Roller Skating as a Spiritual Discipline. It's a little bit of humor from Christopher, and I could have chosen the story about Bigfoot, but I didn't. I could have chosen the story about a 1974 Volkswagen, but I didn't. So this one is titled Interfaith Dialogue Through Play-Doh. Not Plato, Play-Doh. Yeah. A number of years ago, I helped organize an exhibition by a group of Tibetan Buddhist mutts. So, let's start this over again. A number of years ago, I helped organize an exhibition by a group of Tibetan Buddhist monks who were touring the country. If you don't know what monks are the religious figures in Eastern religions, and they may have special robes or other things, and they may wander or they may be in one place, but these monks were on tour, and they were here to demonstrate the Tibetan art of butter sculpture. Chris says, I didn't know anything about butter sculpture at the time, but I was glad to help organize the event. And part of my responsibility was find home hospitality for the monks. One local family with 2 small children agreed to host 2 of the monks. And the couple was a little nervous because the Tibetans did not speak English well at all. And the couple didn't speak Tibetan at all. And of course, their fears turned out to be unwarranted. The Tibetan monks were wonderful guests, and they found nonverbal ways of communicating with each other. And during their visit, the monks happened to notice the 2 small children playing with Play-Doh. Remember eating Play-Doh, too. The monks got down with the children and started playing with them. The Tibetans and the children played together, molding many different shapes and combining various colors. It turned out that Play-Doh was a lot like the material the monks used for their butter sculpture. So the children and the monks discovered that they liked to play with the same stuff, and they laughed and they had fun together. They were able to overcome differences of culture and language and age and religion through the common enjoyment of Play-Doh. Now, adults communicate with words. We often write down what we have to say in letters, books, essays, articles, but any child psychologist will tell you that play is the language of childhood. Play is how children communicate with each other and make sense of the world. Some theologians would even say that play is how children learn to participate in the larger creativity in which we live and move and have our being. Theologians and psychologists agree that play is a meaningful activity. Adults may look to the Bible for meaning, and Muslims to the Quran, adult Hindus to the Vedas, grown-up Buddhists to the sutras, but children of all faiths find meaning and renewal through play. And for them, and for us, play can lead to the renewal of mind, body, and spirit. So, moral of the story here is, if you meet somebody who doesn't speak your language, grab a canister of Play-Doh and sit on the floor together and see what you can make. If you meet somebody who's a different age from you, grab a can of Play-Doh, invite them to sit on a stool while you sit on the floor, and make stuff together. April Fool's Day is coming up. Maybe you want to figure out a way to communicate with somebody who you don't know how to communicate with in a way that leads to laughter. 4, we should all prepare for foolishness in our lives. So, thank you, Christopher, for publishing this 2002 manual with the Unitarian Universalist Association Skinner House Press. I say things like that so those of you who like, oh, I want the Bigfoot story, and you can go and you can buy these meditation manuals. We are now going to sing the children out, and who's carrying the candle as you go? They're going to stay for the service. Well, I will wave the wand and we won't sing. That's fine. That's fine. Do you want to sing anyway? Can we sing Frère Jacques? Could we? Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, somme la matina, ding dang dong, ding dang dong. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. If you can't tell already, today is a day in which we are going to prepare to be fools. So thank you for being flexible in that. Before we head into those parts of the service that have some more of that message and meaning, I would like to invite you to give generously to this congregation, and this is the last Sunday. It's not the last day of the world to donate, but it's the last Sunday to donate in the envelope to SAFE, the organization that will help prevent and outreach for folks who are families who are dealing with domestic violence and sexual abuse. And that was voted, that this month would be the month to collect for SAFE. So that envelope is the last Sunday to do that. We will now gratefully receive the morning offering. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Dick. You're welcome. And what's given in love, we receive with great joy. Thank you. I invite you to take a deep breath. Settle yourselves into whatever position is your tradition for coming into a moment of meditation and prayer. Spirit of love and life, we who are gathered here this morning are glad for the rain. We're glad for the moisture and the cleansing. For we know how hard this time has been for those with respiratory illnesses triggered by the smoke, worried about the expanse of fires lapping at the edges of our living spaces. Spirit of love and life, in particular this morning, our hearts go out to Tara McDonald's family, who are finding that the smoke is making its way in through the cracks into the house. May we remember that family and all who are worried about breathing the smoke. Spirit of love and life, we know as well that there are those in our congregation who've been asked to step up and help give food. in some way to help support the firefighters out in Conisty who are working, we would love to say tirelessly, but may they be rejuvenated, refreshed by the nourishment that we can give and the prayers that we send their way, the gratitude for all who have been helping through this devastating time in nature and in our society. Our hearts go out to those who are recovering from surgeries, who are mending from injuries. In particular, this morning, we are grateful for the ways in which each of us in our Unitarian Universalist community may have reached out with love and support. Thank you to all who have responded to those who have lit candles of concern through their time of recovery. In particular, this morning, the thank you from Rick Lawless for all the good thoughts and prayers sent his way. Spirit of love and life, may we be reminded in life that we must take ourselves lightly. Spirit of love and life, we pray that we find in our hearts the laughter, that one line that was the end of a joke we had long forgotten. The one twist in life that at first shocked us, but now brings us to joy in remembering. Spirit of love and life, through our time of meditation and prayer, may we also remember the lightness that is and that can be. We hold this time in the silence. In the names of all those known and unknown, remembered and forgotten, in the names of all the helpers of humankind, we say, Amen. Blessed be.
There's going to be a slight change in the program. We had a song picked out that was
very heavy.
it was a little heavier than where this seems to be going today. So we're gonna we'll save it for another week.
We didn't want to, so to speak, rain on the
What key is this in?
E.
What? D? E. Oh, I have to drop D. So just give us a second here, and we'll rearrange it. This is a song that Kieran Kane and Fats Kaplan and several other people wrote. We've never played it here before. It's called I Can't Wait.
3, 4.
Someday we'll roll away the stone we have carried for so long. All our burdens will be gone. understanding of all views. No prayer shall be refused. I can't wait. It seems we've gone too far. Now I don't know where we are. I believe we'll find a guiding star. I can't wait. If faith is the final place where all fears have been erased and the locks are fallen from the gates, I can't wait. Someday we'll roll away the stone we have carried for so long. All our burdens will be gone. I can't wait. We will find our way to an understanding of all views. No prayer shall be refused. I can't wait.
Some of you know I've always tried to do some kind of service to our larger movement, being on various task forces or committees. And years ago, decades maybe ago, a colleague of mine who was in Ohio at the time, I believe, Mike McGee, and I served together on such a team and got to know him a little bit. I'm going to use some of his words here as a quote, as a reading, before I head into the sermon here. So these are the words of Michael McGee. Humor enables us to poke holes through the dense mask of egotism that so subtly imprisons us. We learn through giggling and guffawing at ourselves that the I, the self, is largely a figment of our imaginations, a creation we erect before the world to protect ourselves from its sting. The holy fools help us to let down our defenses so that instead of retaliating with anger at arrogance or stubbornly denying the truth about ourselves, we find ourselves laughing at our own foolishness and unknowingly learning from our laughter how to become less foolish. There's kind of an interesting twist at the end there. We unknowingly learning from our laughter how to become less foolish. Well, okay, let's see how we can get to some understanding of where that may be. A sermon I have is Preparing to be a Fool. And I believe that with April Fool's Day coming up and with everything that's going around and fires and earthquakes and political stuff and math tests and anything else that may be facing you in life right now, that you got to find a way to laugh. Now, I know that there are problems for adults in laughing, although we do it pretty well in this congregation. I looked up a Soul Matters packet from way back in 2011. There are some people in this room who might not have been alive in 2011 yet, you know? All right. This is from Scott Taylor, who has put together the Soul Matters Consortium, and he wrote this in the packet at that time. the Reverend Scott Taylor said, "It makes me think of a joke that a friend of mine told me close to the end of his days. 3 clergy were discussing death, and one of them said that if you were in your casket and friends and family were gathered around, what would you like to hear them say?" And the Baptist preacher said, "I would like to hear them say that I was a wonderful husband, a fine spiritual leader, and a great family man." And the Catholic priest said, "I would like to hear that I was a wonderful teacher and a servant of God who made a huge difference in people's lives." And the Unitarian Universalist minister said, "I would like to hear them say, 'Look, he's moving.'" Yeah. Yeah. So we're working up our average of laughs here, because it's said that the average child laughs 400 times a day, and the average adult 18. So are you too serious? Have you lost that ability to laugh? We're gonna try to loosen up a little bit here in this service, but I'm also going to be serious about it too. I'm going to tell you some different cultural interpretations of what humanity is. Because for those of you who are visiting Unitarian Universalism, you may know, or you may not know, that we draw from the wisdom of the world's religions. So it's really cool. We can choose something from the Bible, we can choose something from the Upanishads, we can choose something from, just you name it. If it's wisdom from the world's religions, we say, oh, let's listen to that one. So I found a quote with a few of these things, and it may have been from that Soul Matters packet. It said, one of the creation myths of the Aborigines of South Australia says, humans were created from dung, molded into human form, and then tickled, thus causing the image to laugh. And as it laughed, it came alive. All right, you may want to try that with Play-Doh sometime and make a little figure and then try tickling it and see if it comes alive. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I like that too. According to a Polynesian creation legend, at the moment of creation, the first couple looked at each other's naked bodies and couldn't stop laughing. Okay. In ancient Egypt, the Creator confronted chaos, and as he laughed it off, delivered a world of joy and exuberance. So the quote is, when God burst out laughing, there was light. In Apache myth, the Creator made humankind able to do almost anything. The Creator was not satisfied, though, until humankind was able to laugh. And so the people laughed, and the Creator said, now you are fit to live. So we're supposed to be, according to all these different stories from around the world, we're supposed to be at our essence something that laughs, and by laughing, it gives us our humanity, our ability to be alive, our reason to be acceptable in the eyes of the divine. Why should you be here if you can't be laughing? Should be laughing. There's a phrase that I put into the newsletter blurb that got sent out electronically that I like this phrase. Angels can fly because they take themselves lightly. I like that one. I mean, let's all for a moment rise up, if you can, in your place, and for a moment just pretend you have all the weight of the world on you. Come on, rise up. and just feel the whole weight and gravity of life and situation. Moaning. Oh. All right, now sit back down. Kim Mason, a colleague of mine that I knew when I was up in Pennsylvania, I think she was in Maryland at the time and working for the district when I knew her. She's doing youth and young adult ministry when I first met her. She wrote A Holy Alchemy. Once upon a time, chemists believed they could transform lead into gold or death into life. And we laugh, but aren't we also in the business of alchemy? Turning loneliness into connection, pain into comfort, anger into solidarity, faith into action. The subtle magic of church is that it combines love with justice, creates hope out of fear, transforms individuals in community. Here we engage in a holy alchemy, finding beauty in the ordinary and life in the present. So let's be transformed together. I love that. Love seemed to be what Kim was weaving through that one to be able to get through. But we also have laughter. So we're going to quote one of the great theologians of the 20th century, Victor Borga. He said, laughter is the closest distance between two people. And I think the story that Christopher had written in his meditation manual about those monks, those Tibetan monks, and those children playing with Play-Doh and laughing and having a good time was evidence of that. We laugh at the comedians, but the comedians are often our jesters in being able, especially late-night comedians, telling us to laugh at what's going on, laugh at ourselves for the mess that we've gotten ourselves into. Can you believe it? Yeah. The reality is, if we're stomping around the world with a chip on our shoulder, with the weight of the world on, or whatever else, we miss what's all around us, the golden opportunities that are all around us. And every once in a while, having an April Fool's Day or some other excuse is a way of being able to reawaken us and open our eyes again to what is out there and how we can be more fully ourselves. The Chandogya Upanishad says this in it: you could have golden treasure buried beneath your feet and walk over it again and again and again and never find it because you don't realize it's there. Just so, all beings live every moment in the city of the divine, but never find the divine because it's hidden by the veil of illusion. I happen to think laughter helps pierce the veil of illusion. Laughter brings us back into a view of reality in ourselves in a way that we can see it. We can see it in a way in which we take it lightly, and therefore we are able to go back to being our transformative selves in making awful situations into something better, in making pain into comfort, in making disconnection into reconnection, in making impossible situations suddenly solved by the simplest games that we might play with one another. You know, I read back when I was looking into getting into digital photography, I read somebody was writing about the fact it really doesn't matter what equipment you have. It matters that you can see what's there to have its picture taken. And they gave an example that there was at the time a Fisher-Price camera that you could get for your preschooler. It had really bad quality and was never going to be featured in a photography magazine. But you know what they said? if you happen to see the Dalai Lama doing cartwheels down the middle of the road and all you have is a Fisher-Price camera, take the picture. Yeah. May the laughter help us be more aware. I have another really bad you joke. This one from Daniel Harper. I'll close out with this joke. Close out with this joke. Go for it. An atheist Unitarian Universalist was out in his boat fishing when suddenly the Loch Ness Monster rose up out of the lake and attacked his boat. And the Loch Ness Monster grabbed the bow of his boat in his huge mouth. Everybody do that. Arr. And flipped the Unitarian Universalist way up into the air. And it opened its mouth wide, prepared to catch the guy in its mouth and eat him. And as the Unitarian Universalist fell towards that huge mouth filled with the sharp teeth, without thinking, he said, "Oh my God, help me." And suddenly time froze. And the guy hung there midair, and a huge voice boomed out, "I thought you didn't believe in a personal God on whom you could call in times of crisis." And the Unitarian Universalist answers back, "Hey, give me a break, God. A minute ago, I didn't believe in the Loch Ness Monster either." That one's worth a couple of claps. Okay, that's good. I'm going to help you lead you in a closing hymn that I don't think we've done before here. And John is so skilled. When he came in this morning, he was showing me he's playing this differently from the way it was written because it's going to help us all sing the melody better, while the harmony gets into the depth and meaning of the nuances of the poetry. It would make it difficult for us to sing. So we're going to sing it with the melody really standing out. It's 1060, As We Sing of Hope and Joy. I invite you to rise as you're willing and able. As we sing of hope and joy today, some know only anguish and despair. How can we lift our voices in this way? Of pain and misery to spare. If our crumbling world we would renew, we must sing no ordinary song. Tears from the noisy gong that will never do. In every breath compassion must belong. Let this song our greatest hopes contain. Laughter of a well-fed child its tune. Roofs over every heartbeat its refrain. Harmony from peaceful cities new. Sing of joy while hammering each nail. Sing of hope while pulling every lead. Sing together and prevail. Every hallelujah bear us sing. Oh, you were finding that much too fun. As closing words, I have a good springtime gardening quote from May Sarton. Help us to be always the hopeful gardeners of the Spirit who know that without darkness, nothing comes to birth, as without light, nothing flowers. May you go out this week and find an approach to be more childish in your laughter. May you go out this week with some sense of lightness that you might fly like the angels. May you go out this week, no matter what the world gives you, and know that in order to become alive, you, this hunk of dung, must be tickled to become to life, so that you laugh, and then come back again in love to this place. Thank you.